Today I'm actually going to go up into those mountains over there where I've set up a beehive to see if I've attracted any bees, and I'm also going to go and see if I can find a wild bee colony that used to be there and film the kind of tree that we're looking for filming. But what really amazes me before I go is I could go around and film hundreds of bushes around, Japan. And how much you can see chocolate block full. I've never seen this. I've been here 11 years and I've never seen it. Peek out of it. Just enjoy it right here. It's amazing right here. Still. Focus is so hard. Amazing. It's a hard girl. And they're literally all over this fennel. And this is going to be chock-a block full of amazing fennel seeds that I'm going to bring back to San Francisco to grow Japanese fennel. And this is the most amazing fennel, really rich. Wait until you try it. I could spend all day watching bees, but let's hit the road. To give you a perspective of where I live basically surrounded by rice paddies, and all these rice paddies are basically danger. They use lots of pesticides, fungicides, all of them are water soluble to get in, and they're harmful for the bees. So where I'm headed is over there. Those mountains over there is safe, and that's where we're going to find bees and hopefully hornets and other things up in these mountains here. So I'm going to go explore a site that I know and see if there's bees there. So I've made it to the base of the mountains. So I'm going to go up this old road. There's a Shinto temple, and I'm going to follow around to a rest stop where the bees are. So I'm going to try to film some of this as I ride on my scooter. I just passed an accident. Some car just basically went off and, messed themselves up. And there were cops out there. I'm at the beginning of the top of the mountain, and the trees are in here. There's a valley that I just came up from over there, and I'm pretty close to the top of the mountains that I pointed out earlier. And I just got up here and I paused the bike to check on the video, and guess what I heard? Giant hornet. So they're definitely out here, and the way I heard them was this deep baritone. They just announce that they're here. When you hear them, you know them. So I'm gonna head up there to a rest area. I think that's hornet. There's an Asian wasp there that I saw just now. I don't know if you can see him. He's like right on that thing. He's flying around here, and they may have a nest around here. And the scout may have been out here trying to find that nest. And look at this. That's a cliff straight down here. It's pretty scary. And I love this graveyard. There's a volunteer picking up there. This graveyard is on the top of the mountain, and this is all a Japanese shrine. This entire mountain is a shrine, which makes it a perfect bee sanctuary for the Japanese bees, like a territory. If I can find them. I know they're out here. I've found some, but I've not been able to find the source. Another view of the graveyard. And basically I came from over there, actually a little bit more to the left, but that area is basically where I was when I began this trip. And it's beautiful. And you can hear the guy with the weed whacker, and that's such a dangerous job because all he needs to do is stumble up on one of those giant hornet nests, which I saw one up here, and he's in trouble. So I've made it to my little abandoned rest stop. And there's a little gazebo there that's all overgrown. And last year, year before? I guess it wasn't last year, that was the last got two out of these. But there was lots of bees. Now, this is actually, this is goldenrod. And last fall, bees were collecting goldenrod. And this is actually not, this is an American plant that got here. Good bee food. So any food that's a good bee food source is good. So here's this, looking around here, see what I see. It's just a pretty little flower here. Looks like it'd be perfect for bees. But unlike my garden, it's pretty scarce. This old gazebo in here. You know, they build all these places for tourists to come. Now, what is this guy here? It's so roly poly. But there is flowers out here. There's food. And, you know, what we're going to do now is go and check out the old oak tree, if I can find it, the trees, which are much bigger than this. I have to do a bit of a walk to the forest to get there. It's really interesting how they've got these benches kind of set, so obviously you can look off down into the forest here. And this is the markers. Here's the path. And maybe it was a path at one point for people to rest, and this was the hiking area. So I got myself a trusty stick, cobwebs and stuff. Hope to not have to beat off a bear. I'm gonna head off into the woods here. I just tumbled up on some wild pigs with a baby pig. So this is relatively dangerous. Hey, piggy, piggy, pig. So mama, and she got two kids. So they were. Kids ran off that way, the mama ran off this way. So this is not something you want to look into. She's that one over there somewhere. It's quite important sometimes to be loud and talking. I don't know if this stick is really much of a weapon. She's going to want to get back to her piglets, so they ran the way that I'm walking. This is the first time I've ever seen wild pigs in Japan. I'm looking for something, looking for a heavier weapon. I gotta whack a pig. I want to like this one here. You know, you should always be out in pairs, and I'm kind of breaking the whole rule here. Moving along. I've left the track and I've headed off into the woods here. Now, I had originally marked my location on the GPS, and I've only been there once before. So basically, I'm guessing the location of the site. Future shows up. And you know, this is where I want to keep living. This is the road right here. It's so important to listen and be looking around when you're out here. It's so important out here. You see these in basically zoos. Problem with the pine trees that they have here is how they rot and decay, and they don't provide any habitat. And this is the tree that they plant for forestry. It's all these trees right there. You can see the woodpecker or the beetles who basically nested in there. I think I may have found it. I think it's down here. Hornet just checked me out. Right here, it's providing this tree. Down here, and I can get the camera on quick enough to walk in that direction. So this here is the area, and what we're looking for are these old growth trees which are down here, like this kind of tree here. And what happens is the base of these trees starts to rot out. Like this right here. And basically this rots out, and the hornets, or the bees, will make their nest. Wisteria. So Japan doesn't have these kind of trees anymore. These are all the native, natural. These are not planted anymore. This is, I think, the location over there where the hive was. I'm looking at these old trees like this. See how this one is knotted out? And it's simply by chance that here, yeah, this is free. Up in here, I can get the light on. So up in there, it potentially could be a perfect place, but it's too small. There's fresh water down here. There's mountain water coming down. And that's beautiful. Pesticide-free water. They have water. They have potential habitats. You know, like up under here. See how that's hollowed out under there? And that's where they would be looking to build a nest. Something like that. I believe this at one point, once upon a time, was the hive. I don't know what's going to be in here. There's going to be any evidence of it. See, they would have made their nest. I don't see any cone or anything. This area right here had something in it. You can see, maybe that's just the fungus. But wax moths and other things would have eaten, but that's very smooth, like it's been eaten out, and that may have had a little hive in there at one point. These termites have claimed this. So this tree has surpassed the time frame suitable for bees and has reverted back to nature. But this is the kind of trees that we're looking for, these old wood trees that we see here. And none of these would have been planted. These are all native, natural, beautiful tree up here. This would make such a beautiful prime location. You can see here how this would have been a perfect time. Look at the size of this internal of the tree. There's actually been an entrance right here. This would have all been a tree. And this would have been the entrance to the bees, right in here. It seems like I want to come back to this tree and turn it into a beehive. It's so beautiful. It's huge. And here's the top of the tree. You can see, you know, all of this. Try to see if there's any evidence of cone building. There's a lot of blackness here, which could be lightning or it could be bees or mold. It's hard to say. But this is what we're looking for habitat. But this is, again, is this tree came down and is no longer there. And there's another potential location. Here's one over here too. You know, the whole idea with the bees is basically finding places which are out of the way, hidden. And this, notice, look at this, like nature would have built this huge base just for the point of bees potentially in the future. You know, this could be carved out. But there are none. I know there were bees here before because my teacher found them here. The bees have been killed. They've lost this territory to the hornets. I like the hornets because there's no pesticides out here. Then again, the wild boar may have gotten really hungry and ultimately, got in there. Who knows? But if it's deep up in the tree, there's all these old trees like this. That's what we're looking for. And the problem is that Japan is now planting all this cedar, and they don't grow this plant. It's harmless. I see a place like this, and I immediately think closer to that tree gets uprooted, creates access on the ground, and build a nest. I'm listening and looking. This could be, if there was a hive in here, what I want to do is dig out the side here, exposing the cone, putting in some board and some plexiglass and covering it over. And this would be perfect for, filming, or maybe, I don't know if we can move and place a hive. It's something like this, and then have a nice angle. Imagine if this is the entrance here, right? Ooh. Do you hear that? Did you hear that? That was a Suzumebachi right there. That was a king killer hornet right there. I don't know if you heard that. He flew right over, right when I was poking. I heard he was on a mission. He was headed back somewhere. But that there was the hornet. Hornets are out here. These aren't that I can see. Or if they are here, they're well hidden. And they are going to be hidden. So I'm running out of battery here, and I'm going to head back.